Borua Boye. So Jay Z uh, formed a partnership with the NFL, and a lot of people have gone bananas, right? They feel like this is a huge betrayal of Colin Kaepernick. It's a betrayal of the overall community, and um, they feel like Jay Z is being opportunistic and self-serving in the move, which those are fair opinions, right? But we got to really, really, really be slow when we dive into that kind of thought pattern, right? Number one, Colin Kaepernick signed or accepted a settlement from the NFL, right? I think they were calling it collusion or conspiracy or something. He took, I'm sure, a nice little chunk of money from the NFL to drop the case, right? Colin Kaepernick is not under any delusion that he's going to go back and play football for the NFL. He's taken his money and he's moved on, right? And I think he's doing some exciting things around activism and social justice in his own arena now. Likewise, earlier we know that Colin Kaepernick made a partnership with Nike, right? A lot of people lost their bananas with that, right? They were, oh my God, Colin Kaepernick sold it out, blah, blah, blah. You know, Nike is just exploiting him. Nike's using him. I don't think that Nike's using him. I think it's a branding opportunity for Nike. Nike wants to position themselves as supporters of the underdog. That's like the driving force of let's do it, really. Of course, you've got, the celebrities that they support, but when you look at the Nike brand and the way they market themselves, they are the supporters of the unsung heroes, the fat kid who wants to work out, the middle-aged mommy who wants to be fit, the guy who is not really an NBA prospect, but he brings it on the playground every Saturday, right? That's the Nike brand. These are underdogs, and when you look at I think Serena Williams, you look at Tiger Woods, for example, when they were supreme underdogs and everybody was criticizing them, Nike came out with campaigns that put them squarely at the middle of supreme athleticism and symbols of triumph and perseverance and the kinds of things that make a person admirable as an athlete. So, it was smart. It was smart. These people are doing business, is what I'm trying to say. They're not making friends and hanging out with each other and inviting each other's children to the play dates, and it's not about that. It's about doing business, and doing business isn't just about getting the purse. It's not just money. Doing business is about aligning yourself with opportunities as they present themselves, that over time, if you're smart, they're going to support your brand. They're going to continue to, when people look back, they're going to see you on the right side of the equation. Your image is going to be consistent, from beginning to end, right? And so Colin Kaepernick has made a series of decisions that were good for his brand and good for the other brands that were partnering with him, right? So the idea that Jay Z somehow betrayed Colin Kaepernick, we should put that to rest. These guys are making business moves. That's the first thing. When it comes to the broader community, whether or not Jay Z's decision to partner with the NFL, betrays the larger community and overlooks or minimizes the injustices that we suffer at the hands of the police, I don't know. Jay Z is the one who's bailing out people, right? He's the one who's putting up his money from his pocket. These aren't business moves per se. This is money he's just putting towards bailing people out, right? 21 Savage earlier. Someone else he paid their legal fees. I think it was Meek Mill. He made a documentary on Meek Mill's situation, his legal battles. What else did I hear about Jay Z recently? With he did the other documentary on Browder. Excuse me for not being up on all the names, but there's the the young brother who got arrested for allegedly stealing a backpack, and they locked him up for years. He never got a trial. You know what I mean? He ended up committing suicide. It's a horrible story. Jay Z exposed that through another documentary, if my memory serves me correctly. So this is not a guy who is kowtowing and pretending that these boys just got to pull their pants up and everything's going to be okay. I don't think that's Jay Z's position. I think he is sensitive to what's going on, and he believes that this is the next move. And this is not just my opinion of what I think he believes. I actually watched the interview, or a portion of the interview, particularly the part where Charlemagne from the Breakfast Club was asking him. He challenged him directly, like, "Hey, is this basically selling out?" And I like Jay-Z's answer, which was, "This is the next step. We can't eliminate protest, but we just can't keep kneeling. What do we do after we kneel? What do we do after we've brought attention to the issue? Everybody knows what the issue is, but what do we do next? There has to be a next step." And so if you don't have a next step, and then your plan and your intent is to just perpetually kneel and just perpetually protest, then you'll end up with what we have today, which is a highly reactionary African American community. All we do is wait for something to happen, and then we explode with protest. And then even when we go into the protest, we don't have a list of agenda items, right? We learned that from the Nation of Islam, from the Black Panther Party. This is our 10-point plan. What the Panthers want, right? These are the things that we're demanding. Well, now we just go in and we just protest. There's no 3-point agenda, 5-point agenda, 10-point. What are our demands? So, Jay-Z, who is not an activist, he's not a community, organizer per se. That's not his thing. He's an artist. He's an entertainer, right? He's an entertainer. And so he's moving into another spectrum of leadership within the entertainment industry. And this is a next step that makes sense for his brand, right? This makes sense for Jay-Z's brand. This is a huge power move. He's partnering. The NFL didn't hire him, right? He's not an employee of the NFL. His company made an agreement, signed a contract for a specified time and specified outcomes and a specified amount of money that they will reach on their terms. That's a power move, right? You add that to your resume. I brokered a deal with the NFL around the biggest problem they have had in modern history. That's a power move, right? And so if you had that opportunity, even in your little career, I don't want to minimize your career, but even in your career, if you had the opportunity to just get any kind of a contract, any kind of a gig with the NFL, to get any kind of a little gig with Nike, to get any kind of a little gig with the U.S. government, the federal government is going to pay you to go and do a 12-month engagement, to do a 3-year engagement. They're going to pay you this. You are going to take it because you're going to be able to take their little logo, stick it on your website, and say, "I work with this organization in this capacity." If you don't do that, then how can you call yourself serious about your profession? Now, all money ain't good money. So you have to decide where to draw the line. But I think it's pretty safe to say that for a person like Jay-Z, who is brokering these really high-level deals in the entertainment industry, he's made these partnerships, LeBron James, Kanye West, the New York Nets, right? He's doing different things that position him in this spectrum of arts and entertainment that will make him a mogul. That's basically what he's doing. He's positioning himself to make himself a mogul, right? So I can't find fault with it from a business perspective, right? Now, the only criticism that we could offer is that they announced it a little soon, right? Because he doesn't really know how genuine the NFL is. Now, the one thing I would have said, as if I were his advisor, would be, don't announce this and don't allow the NFL to announce this. Once we've done a 3-year trial and you have met all of my requirements, right? Once you hit the benchmarks that my organization says you've got to hit. Now they put 8 million towards community relations with the police, and something is going to be 12 million coming up in the next year, and I think there's a 20 million seed money that's going to go towards boys club, girls club, things like that. I would say you're going to have to give me 3 years of hitting some numbers, right? Hiring people, or you know what I'm saying? There has to be some hard outcomes that I would make the NFL promise to and deliver upon before I'd allow them to use my name and my image publicly. That's the only scrutiny I would offer to Jay Z and his team at this point. And perhaps that was on the table. I don't know how they came to the conclusion that they did. But that's his safety net, to make sure that at least, in that trial period, by the time it does get announced, he can come out with some real simple, hard facts to say, hey, this is what I promised, and this is what we have already delivered, because people can't argue with that, right? You got outcomes that are proven already. So that would be my one bit of scrutiny. Now, for those of us who practice Orisha lifestyle, it's important that we also ask ourselves, what does Ifa say about business? The part that I don't like about the whole dialogue is that we're carrying over this, this residual value system from a form of Christianity that is aversive to money, aversive to business, right? That's not Ifa. Ifa is not aversive to business. It doesn't promote greed, but it certainly does not discourage you from doing business. That's why, according to numerous Odu Ifa, but Oyeku Ogbe is one, where it's a recurring theme, that earth is a marketplace, heaven is our home, right? That you'll account for your deeds once you return to the gates of heaven. Earth is a marketplace. This is a place where you do business. I go into great detail in this. I have a whole chapter dedicated to this in my book, The Fundamentals of Orisha Lifestyle. Oja, the marketplace. You gotta. There's a requirement that you prepare yourself to go into the marketplace and do business, right? And learn what you can, become a better version of yourself by showing improving in the marketplace. You got to be able to go in there, and there's a verse of Ifa that tells you to turn a profit. Tells the market woman, hey, people are wicked. They're going to go in and they're going to try to lowball you. They're going to try to undercut your cost, and they'll do it until you go out of business. You need to charge for a profit. That's Ifa. Ifa says that Oromila was the one who turned open fields, abandoned fields, into sprawling markets and thriving communities. Ifa says that Oromila is the one who looks he wore the hat of specialization. He wore the pants of specialization. He gazes with the eyes of specialization. And it goes forward. This is Ogundaka, where then he goes and enumerates all of the different professions that Oromila brought from the heavenly realm to give to men, all of the heavenly professions that he brought from heaven to earth to give to women. So Oromila himself brought forth 16 different professions, 16 different specializations, and assigned 8 to men and 8 to women. Ifa is a business-oriented tradition, right? And so if we want to do well in it, we need to understand life on business terms and not be so skittish and fearful of doing business at higher and higher and higher levels. right? Particularly in the environment that we find ourselves right now. There's something I want you to look up. It's called the White War. Interesting term, right? The White War. The White War is about how money is used to create strategic advantage. It's warfare without bloodshed. Okay, money, and how these different organizations have created the money evaluation system that we know today. It basically creates first, second, and third world. Well, there's no more second world, but you understand what I'm saying. Money is power, particularly in the contemporary economy. And you've got to be able, not you as an individual or me as an individual, we collectively have to be comfortable with pooling money, forming our money, shaping that money, aiming that money towards targets, and executing different maneuvers and moves so that money can work for us collectively today and tomorrow and in subsequent generations. So I want to challenge you to look at this situation that Jay Z is in with the NFL and examine it according to your own business opportunities within your own circle of influence. And every time you come to a point of doubt, ask yourself, what would Orumila do? If that were the dilemma that he were facing, what would Orumila do? And then go and ask Ifa. Aboru aboye, aboshishe.